At the very end of Sefer Bereshit, the book of Genesis, we get the story of Jacob. Yaakov is dying, and all of his children gather around him. And he says to them, "Let me tell you what is going to happen in the end of days." But as he's about to tell them, he loses prophecy. He's unable to tell them. So he thinks he's going to be able to give this prophetic vision to his children, but he can't. And the question is why? And Jacob says, well, you know what? Look, all of my forebears, Abraham, he had Yitzchak. Somebody also had Ishmael. So he had one worthy and one less worthy child, and because of that, he was. Pause there for a second, and then he says, and sitting with Yitzchak, he had Yaakov and he also had Esav. And he says that maybe what's going on here is that I've got all my children around me. Maybe one of them is not worthy of carrying on my heritage. So, Abraham's heritage was carried on by Yitzchak. Yitzchak's was by Yaakov, but each had children who didn't carry on the heritage. It's like, maybe my children are not worthy. Maybe that's why I've lost the powers of prophecy. And he says this to his kids, and his kids say, Shema, Yisrael, listen up, Israel, because his name was also Israel. Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. God is one, his name is one. We're all together. The sons all say, no, we're all one, and God is one, and you don't have anyone unworthy amongst your children. At which point he says, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuta Le'olam Va'ed. And so there becomes a question, like, should we say Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuta Le'olam Va'ed when we're saying the Shema? And some say yes, because Yaakov said it. Others say, but we shouldn't say it because Moses, when he says the word Shema later on, he doesn't say it. We have like the literal meaning of Shema Yisrael, which Moses comes from Moses, and the kind of the allegorical that comes from the story of Jacob and his children. And so the rabbis say, okay, so Moses doesn't say it, but Jacob does say it. Should we say it? Should we not? It's like, I'll tell you what, we're going to say Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuta Le'olam Va'ed. We'll say it quietly. So you say Shema out loud. It's kind of the declaration of Jewish unity, Jewish faith. But then you follow it up with a very quiet Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuta Le'olam Va'ed, except on Yom Kippur, the one day of the year when we say it aloud.